What's going on, Podcast Nation? This is your bald, handsome, sexy as all get out host, Nick Overby, joined by not only one hell of an agent, but I consider you a friend. You've been here with me. Andrew Moore, Andy Moore, not less, right?
I knew that was going to come up in
Well, it
this.
had to, man. I mean, that's the go-to.
It is. And thank you for having me on here today, buddy. Been excited to do this since you first started it.
How you doing, man?
I'm fantabuloso. How are you?
Better than I deserve.
Sorry, that's just my normal pitch.
It's okay. Look, you get to be yourself here. The podcast has become a place where myself and the agents that are on it have an opportunity to share their story, and that often can be put you in a vulnerable position. Right? Start making you think about things you might not think about. But for you, because of your history here, this is going to be a good one.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
I am as well. So let's make sure we're so good here. So let me tell you a little bit about where I was going with this and thinking about doing this podcast. I know last week when I said, hey, it's way overdue, we got to get this done. My mind started going, okay, questions I'm going to ask you. How am I going to lead this? But I'm going to start it with this, man. I mean, before we get into who you are, I need the audience and you to know how you impacted or where you started with me, because I feel like that's important. So
I like that. Let's do it.
I'm right around my year, past my year being here, and my first deal I ever wrote was on August 20th, and you
were there for that. I remember.
Yeah. On a lot of my first deals, but I remember that because of your support and who you were then versus who you are now.
It's two different people.
Yeah.
I have changed completely since I've been here. And I mean, we all go through changes. And the thing is, most of us are scared of that. And I used to be terrified of change and terrified to try new jobs. But the changes that we make are always going to change our lives and our future generations. So just being here with others, learning from others, doing what we do, these changes are amazing.
I love that you mentioned changing the lives of other people. And I'm not talking about the people we talk to every day. I'm talking about your daughter. Okay.
I would love to talk about her.
Oh, we will.
She knows I was going to.
Wait, she knows that you're doing this?
No.
Okay.
I tried to call her, but she didn't answer.
Fair enough. Let me get rid of this. So let's back up, because there are a couple of people in this room that are quote unquote single fathers, right? And while you're not necessarily a single father because you co-parent, you are at oftentimes the single dad role, right?
Correct.
So because of what the content of the post is about, of the podcast, I would like to hear how being a single dad, or in your situation, has impacted your role and ability to be here. And I'll touch on why I asked that in just a minute.
So it's kind of hard to answer that, because when it comes to single parenting, I mean, first off, it'd be hard if her mom wasn't as great as a mom that she is. Like, she's a fantastic mom. Stepdad's a great stepdad and leader to her. So it's not like I have so much time with her that it causes a stress to me. But thankfully, we work in a company and an office that allows us to basically just focus on family first. Now, open enrollment, I got to tell Kinley, Daddy will see you in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're gonna have the best Christmas this year.
Yeah, well, 2 Christmases ago, we couldn't even have a Christmas. So thank God for this place, right? But
amen.
We take time from work to focus on family. And that was a big issue that I've had being a single father and, working from job to job, trying to make ends meet and trying to make the next paycheck and see if food's going to be covered or if we're going to have money for bills. So I was always working and never could see her. And what I noticed was I was too scared to take off time from work because I needed the money, right? Well, now the more time I take off, or the more time I spend with her, and I'm saying I just take off just to, shoot the shit, but I take time to focus on myself, focus on my daughter, and on the back end, that creates more success and more income, because that mental and physical and emotional health that we have to have it. We think that we have to work all the time to create the most success and have the best life ever. It's not that.
Right.
My daughter, if I work every single hour of every single day for a year, I would make, 10 times less than what I make now. With Kinley in my life and taking time off, that's the most important thing, and it's changed my life completely here.
It's evident. Like, from knowing you for over a year, I had a conversation with Samori about this the other day. Like, you are literally a different person. Like, and
I dress differently now.
when we were sitting in last Friday, and when Kinley was like, "I'm gonna throw my dad in the bucket," like, dude, you really are like, and that like, okay, and
He don't sleep as much.
right? Jesus, yeah. We'll go back to the alarm clock thing later, but that's why we called pulling an Andy, taking a nap. But dude, I mean, from the time you like, not many people step down from leadership, right? Not many people look at where they are in their life and say, I need to change because of my daughter. And I don't know if I'm right on that, but I feel like that's kind of where you were.
You are, and I can't take full credit for that because at first I didn't want to. And thankfully, Perry and Jamie are two amazing people who made it feel like it was, a good thing for me and for Kinley and for this office. And for me, it's like, oh, if I go back, I'm letting people down, or I'm letting Kinley down, or I'm a failure. I'm so hard on myself to make that decision. It was really hard. I mean, it took me a month to make the decision. But what hit me one day was I had my team, and for the most part, we were doing great. But there's a few people I couldn't help them, go home to the paychecks to their family that I wanted them to. So for me, it's not that, oh God, they didn't get a check, I'm good to go because my check's, great. Mm-hmm. But it's for me, I go home at night saying, why couldn't I get him on the board? Why couldn't I get a paycheck for his family? What could I have done better? So I would go home and stress and take time away from Kinley because I couldn't be a good leader because I couldn't get them paychecks that I wanted them to make. Mm-hmm. And I realized, you know what, maybe if I do step down, we split the responsibilities to the leaders with these people, maybe their families be taken care of. What's crazy is the fact that I stepped down and I still helped around the office and still did trainings. I was still as a leader as much as I was without it being on paper. So I was still just as much help, but I took the stress off of me and I spent better time with Kinley. They made more money going to their family. That stepping down was a great idea that Perry and Jamie had. So I'm glad it happened.
First time that's ever happened. So, Jerry. I love that though, man, because this office, right, is built on a foundation of finding your superpower. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think that Jamie and Perry saw that. Yeah, right. Saw that within you when you might not have.
Oh, for sure. Do you know what happened on Thanksgiving of 2020?
No.
Jamie by far is one of the most important people in my life.
100%. Mine too.
I was sitting at her house on Thanksgiving and I was having a great Thanksgiving meal. Just ate. Week before I sold 5,000. Yeah, that's not AV. Me. You know that 5,000 AV.
That's like 30 minutes for you now.
Yeah, that was the week before open enrollment, and I was fine. I mean, I had a few good weeks before then, so I was like, oh, it's just a slow week before open enrollment. I'm good. And Jamie walked up to me. She was like, Andrew, something's off. And I was like, Jamie, it's because I'm full. she's like, no, Andrew, you got this fire in you when you're alive. Mm-hmm. You got this fire in you when you're successful. I don't see it in you. I was like, Jamie, I'm fine. Like, everything's good. She's like, no, I don't know what it is. But during open enrollment, we wear sweatpants and t-shirts. We're relaxed because we're working 24/7. She's like, Andrew, you feel yourself when you're in a suit. When you're dressed nice, you come out there just firing on all cylinders.
I remember now.
She's like, go get a suit. So I bought a suit, went in the office on Monday.
A black suit with the red, right?
And that's when I had that week.
170?
173. Because Jamie said, I don't see the fire in you that I used to see.
The same week I did 105.
I remember that.
Here's what's crazy from a sales standpoint, which is pretty cool. Out of the region, let's just call it 70 or 80 agents in our two offices, between the satellite.
Right.
There was 5 people out of 60 or so that hit over 100K in 1 week. Yourself, Jamie, Perry, Stoner, and me, and Matt Reisner all did it in 1 week.
Yep.
Okay. I want to hear about Andrew Moore. I want to hear, because and this is the dead honest truth. I really only know you as window salesman to now, and not a whole lot before. Obviously, we share a love for music, but who's Andy?
Geez, you got to cut to the core, don't you?
Yeah, man. I gotta find out. Like, okay, well, here, let me make it easy. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Crowley.
Okay. How old are you?
28.
28. 92, 93?
92.
Makes you feel any better. I remember writing April 22nd on paper with a number 2 pencil. Shows you how old I am. So grew up in Crowley, 28 years old, single, bachelor, taken. What's the status?
So I was married,
Yes.
divorced. No, so I grew up in Crowley. My inspirations were go to college and play baseball. I actually wanted to do kinesiology. Found out I fucking hated science. Love math. Science not so much. So ended up dropping out because my mom needed help. And honestly, I just didn't like college. I was a really good student. Had 1B my entire elementary school. Not elementary, kindergarten to 12th grade, I made 1B, all A's.
So what happened now?
Went to college, hated it. Honestly, at that point, I was going to clubs. Me and my ex-wife were spending time together, but we had 2 jobs, trying to build a future, trying to build a house. And I was like, I'm not learning much in college. And I feel like I'm learning more out here in the real world that I want to, just step back and do the real thing. Like I want to go focus on that. The college is just not what I want. So I had 2 jobs. I worked at Aeropostale and Taco Bell. And
flourishing retail career, I can hear.
Yeah, I was great at it. Worked in the back. But no, so the year before our divorce, I actually went to equipment operating and welding. Yeah, me. In the midst of all that, I was DJing and producing, and which I still do today, and I'm enjoying it more now than I did before because now I can actually study it. Yeah, love it. But
he's actually pretty fucking good. We'll get to that in a minute.
You guys are gonna hear the song on the intro.
Mm-hmm. They've already heard the song on the intro.
SoundCloud.com/Andy Moss.
I'll put that right here, like right here on the video. Yeah, I'll put it right there. Actually, that's good. I'll put it right there. I definitely do that. Not a problem.
Love it.
All right. So SoundCloud and then
Taco Bell. Yeah. So after my divorce, I ended up leaving that last job for welding and equipment operating because I was just going so much in debt. I was basically making money to pay bills and to go even further in debt. Like I was getting to the point where it wasn't even covering, a third of my bills. And at that point, I got screwed over by the first company. They started cutting my hours. I was like, I got to go. Somebody's like, you talk a lot. Go do sales. I was like, okay. Didn't realize it's 100% commission. So 6 months, I went even more in debt. And the thing is, that's what I love, is to have all that pressure and to be pushed against the wall and you can't go backwards. So when I had that window job, my first 6 months, I probably made 5,000 or 6,000. Like it wasn't enough. I mean, my bills are 4,000 a month period at that point. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't figure it out. And I tried to quit. I tried to do, I think DoorDash was not around then. I think it was Uber Eats or something. But I was trying to do that. And I was like, man, I need to quit this. And the owner of the company's like, I see something in you. Keep going. I was like, I can't. Well, 6 months in, something hit me. And at the end of the day, every single day I went home, I studied sales. I studied motivation. I was in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. So I was trying and trying and trying, and I just couldn't figure it out. There's something I was missing. And then one day a spark happened. And what's crazy is, if any of you have felt this, there's a moment in your life you'll feel a light switch flick off. And it's not just like, oh, it was a light switch. It's like, wow, fucking life just hit me. Everything makes sense. You connect all these dots and you're like, oh, that's what I got to do. And when that doesn't work, this is what I can change to get that done. And it's like all these things start connecting together and you can figure out exactly what the next step of life is. It's like a cheat code of life. And it hit me. The first month I figured it out was the first month I sold $100,000 of windows, which was hard to do in our industry. And somehow I turned in from 6 months of making 5,000 to selling $1 million in my first year. And the company was great. The owner I respect more than anything because he taught me to be the man I am today. He taught me how to talk to people. He talked to me about how to run a business. That guy changed my life. Well, unfortunately, the window industry just got really difficult. Went to the next company, and basically ended up working for a scam company. They scammed $18,000 from me and I lost everything. Well, in the process of all this, knocked on Perry and Jamie's door, tried to sell windows.
How fucking ironic.
Which, bro, you still need windows. But I can't help you with that now. But
you still do need energy efficient windows.
Yeah.
Check out our plug. Kidding, completely kidding.
But that's how I met Perry and Jamie, and Perry tried to get me for about a year and a half. And
Really?
I kept telling him, no, yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long. I thought it was like a month or two.
No. The first company I worked for, knocked on his door. He tried to sell me on a job. I tried to sell him windows. He was the first man that didn't close that I wanted to, not because I didn't get all my sales, but that was the one guy I couldn't sell. And I was like, I want to be his representation for Windows. Like, I gotta work with this guy because I love this guy. And he always called out me up for my bullshit for sales. He's like, I see that sales technique. Don't do it on me. And I would try again. He knew me better than anybody else. But the second time I went out there, he didn't want Windows. He wanted me. We talked 10% Windows, 90% me working for him. Third time, I didn't get a fucking word out for Windows. It was all about hiring me. I just didn't trust insurance. All about those multi-level marketing schemes.
Especially health insurance, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've gotten several offers for there, and I just couldn't do it. Well, that last company, they actually gave me a upfront pay. They gave me $2,000 a start. You can come work for us, run a sales manager position, run 2 offices, but we need you to move to Dallas. So I ended up buying my second apartment, 2 apartments at once. The first month and a half, I sold 180,000. Should have went home with 20 grand, and they ran. They basically left, and I lost every penny I had. Now I have 2 apartments, truck payment. I was about to lose everything.
And no income.
No income. If you have anxiety and depression, figure out what that would do to you. Basically at that point, I was like, I'm done. I'm not a good father anymore. I can't provide for her. I'm not a good agent. I'm not a good person.
You were 26, 27 at the time? 26.
26.
Okay.
And somehow I found the courage to reach out to Perry and actually started an open enrollment of 2019. And at first, back to Windows, 6 months. I was like, can't make the money here. But once you connect that dot, you figure out the next step. And then that's where we're here today.
So, question I ask everybody on this show, because this environment, this room, the people in this room have changed our lives. You have a huge impact on the change of mine. So I would be curious to know, what's maybe the one biggest lesson you've walked away with being a part of this?
Oh man. Trust.
I like that. Why was that your answer?
I've always had trust issues. From the moment my dad walked out to the moment I lost a wife, lost basically 90% of time with my daughter, to losing 4 girlfriends, to losing a business, losing my money, losing everything. You start getting to the point where you don't trust anything. So you know that saying where, what's it called? Innocent till proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the opposite. I'm guilty till proven innocent.
Okay.
Don't like people, don't like friends, don't like working, don't like all that stuff. Until I came here. Now I got family, I got friends, I trust again, and I'm willing to go out there and take the step and try new things now. I'm a whole new person since being in this office, man.
Yeah.
If you'd have met me 2 years ago, we would not be talking right now.
No, not at all. I mean, if I hadn't walked into the den, well, A, I obviously would have never met you, but B, I would have never, ever put myself here today, right? Nobody in this room ever says, I can't wait to sell health insurance next year, right? And if you do, you're fucking high or whatever.
At the end of the day, you said that I made an impact on you. Do you understand the impact you make on us? Well, at least on me.
Me personally?
The stuff that you've gone through. And the fact that you still do what you do, you're still this person with the podcast, you're still this badass in the office, you're still a great father.
Well, thank you.
You have an impact on me, man.
I appreciate that. And let's go back to what you said earlier, where you're 26, you feel like a failure, you feel like you haven't done this. And I think it takes, for me, the podcast and certain other things in my life to zero out. Is the best way to put it, right? Come back to zero, come back to normal, where we get caught up with the lack of success or too much success, or we're not doing this right, but we're doing this right. We never have a balance,
right?
And we can talk about that another time, but it's nice to hear that, and for that I appreciate you more. You're welcome,
brother.
And I've always talked about one of the things I had thought about while I was how am I going to talk through this whole conversation. Something that sticks with me about you that I haven't had with really anybody in here but Z and Z. That's it. There were times when I first started, the first 6 months, like right during open enrollment, I remember vividly sitting at my kitchen table having conversations with you at 11:30 at night about behavior analysis and about talking about how to understand people and why we're here and what we're doing. And I hope you understand that, like, what this office has brought into my life is not only a sense of camaraderie, but it's a family, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I am an addict at heart, and that means that in everything I do, I go hard and go home. And it doesn't mean that I'm addicted to drugs and all this stuff, but it does mean that I have a really bad habit of just going all in on everything. And so when I'm here, I'm spending 70, 80 hours a week. This environment is very important to me. You've always, even during nap time, brought this fucking fire, dude. And I want to know, outside of recreational drug use, how do you keep up with that? No, I'm kidding. Because look, I mean, it is what it is. I'm being joking or facetious about that.
Red Bull.
Yeah. How do you? But no, I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, it's hard to keep up in this business, and even more so to be somebody like yourself who is consistently every week here. How do you do it?
And honestly, man, that was something I was struggling with. Obviously, all the nap time jokes were true.
Mm-hmm.
I would spend so much time working, and then I would go home and try to get stuff done within a short amount of time that I have, and I would basically force myself to do things that I wanted to do and needed to do, to the point where I would sleep a lot. So with one of my business partners, my referral partner, what I noticed was I was not producing or helping the amount of people that we need to be helping because I was doing that. So that takes me back to what we talked about earlier. When we want to do all this work, yeah, it's great. The overload is going to cause repercussions, whether you miss a phone call or, you talk to too many people one day, you forget who you're talking to, and your customer service drops.
Mm-hmm.
I have found a way to basically build a schedule for myself. After trial and errors, I finally realized that I have to take time for myself. Instead of me loading every 15 minutes or 30 minutes for a phone call and appointments, then what I could do is cut myself off at 7.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody has an emergency, great, take them at 9 o'clock, but set your schedule and stick to it. When I stick to that schedule, I take those few hours a night and I spend it with Kinley. Or I go be a badass on Rocket League.
Motherfucker's cold as shit on Car Soccer.
Check it
I
out.
don't care what y'all fucking talking about. I can't even figure it out. It makes my head hurt.
That's the only game I play. But
I like how nonchalant. It's the only game I play.
It really is. I don't like video games except for that one. But it's so important, guys. Like I used to be a gym rat. I used to work out 6-7 days a week. I always say my car wreck was the reason I don't work out. No, it's because I'm fucking lazy.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
why I don't work out, because I'm lazy.
Dude, now I'm getting back into it. I'm getting up on time. I'm getting up early. I'm motivated for work now.
I mean, literally, I'm generally one of the first 1 to 2 people in here, aside from
7 a.m., bro.
I'm impressed. Yeah, because I took my sweet time this morning. But like, I have noticed that you are here early. You do your shit. You go at noon. You're out with Perry working out, and that routine has.
Shout out Ken Stone, our personal trainer.
Who's Ken Stone?
Our personal trainer.
Oh, our personal trainer. What does he do?
He works for Perry's gym.
Okay.
So the knots and pinched nerves I've had my back. I've seen chiropractors. I've seen therapists. I've seen massage therapists since January 23rd of 2020. And they've gotten worse. I can't sleep. I'm in so much pain. My anxiety levels are so high. I mean, you know how fast I talk. This is actually slow for me. Well, basically, anytime I go work out, like I told you, I used to go 5 or 6 days a week. But now, or last year when I'd work out, like one set, man, stinging pains, just numbness, sharp pains. It was miserable. I worked out 1 or 2 times in all of 2020. It was that bad for my car wreck. Well, Perry's like, man, come meet my personal trainer. He's the coolest dude in the world. He's weird, but he's the best guy you'll ever meet. I was like, I like weird. So I went, and he had me and Perry doing these sets together. We're doing some curls or something. And 15 minutes in, I looked at Perry. I was like, I can't. I was like, I want to cry. I want to walk out. Like, this is starting to hurt. I told you, man, I can't do this. He's like, just go fucking tell him. He's not going to, mess with you. He's going to help you.
He's not going to hurt you.
And I was like, dude, doctors can't help me. Therapists, massage. I mean, nobody can help me. They want to do surgery and, charge me $100,000. If you need health insurance, I got you.
Well, I'll give you this. You get a chance to do the shameless plug. No. We'll get to the shameless plug in a minute. We'll do that in a second, because we're at like 22 minutes.
Perfect. So we got 28 more minutes to go.
23 minutes. Yeah, I mean 25. I set the timer for 30, but 25 to 28 is because nobody has the attention span of more than a gnat.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, 30 seconds squirrels.
Especially
everywhere.
5-year-old daughters.
Yeah. And happens to be 35-year-old agents watching the podcast because I get the analytics. I see everything.
We all have such a short memory.
Well, it's thanks to our society, right?
Yeah,
it's
true.
all where's my phone? Oh, I want it right now.
Where's my phone? Exactly.
Yeah. Where's that? Well, it's that there is a commercial from JG Wentworth. I'll never forget it. It's my money and I want it now. That is to me, the embodies our society. It's mine and I want it now. And that's
because it's short and sweet. It's easy to remember.
Yeah. And everybody wants instant, right? They want an instant health insurance quote. Why can't I just get this policy started today? What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, go.
So with meeting with the trainer for 15 minutes, he's like, oh man, you're doing the wrong workouts. I got you. In my head, I'm like, you're crazy, bro. Doctors can't help me. Therapists can't help me. It's just, I was basically expecting to do this the rest of my life without surgery. Mm-hmm. And instead of me doing like curls and working up the front side of my body, I'm reversing my workouts and working on the back. Well, after that first workout, it really fucking hurt, man. Like I could barely walk. My back was in so much pain because all those knots and all those pinched nerves were miserable. And I got back to the office. I was like, fuck, I'm hurting. And I got on a phone call and I talked slow. I was like, whoa, it's like my anxiety dropped a little bit. And I got to the point where I was so uncomfortable because I'm so, numb and so just can't feel anything that I'm always uncomfortable talking or doing anything.
What do you mean? Wait,
my knots.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I'm a naughty boy.
Jesus Christ.
Single father.
Best dad jokes. Literally best dad jokes I've ever heard.
I'll end this whole podcast with one, guys. If you want one, I got you. But
you have to, because that's going to be part of the clip that I post tomorrow for the promo.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got a good one lined up. But after that first workout, that phone call went really good, and I was like, my anxiety dropped. And remember, I went 1 to 2 workouts for all of 2020, and I've been with this guy for almost a month now, and I've gone 9 times, 10 times, and each time I leave, I feel the knots dispersing and the pinched nerves leaving. I can feel things. I basically losing anxiety. I can sleep at night. That's why it's getting better for me. But with all this being said, what I'm trying to tell you guys is when it comes to that mental, emotional, and physical health, that is the most important thing. I mean, I put it off because I didn't think it was possible. And I thought doctors couldn't do it, blah, 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 blah. But now that I'm really working on that, that's what's making everything easier for my scheduling, for my life, for being a father, for being a good person, or being a good friend. That's the most important thing, is taking time off for yourself and focusing. If that's where we left off at.
Taking care of you.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, focusing on what's important for you. And I think, well, we all know this business takes that away from you.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, and even our motto, right? Hope, right? I mean, we channel all of our energy into somebody else, other people, right? And I think it's easy to get lost in, I got to make money. I got to sell policies. I got to put food on the table. Well, what about Andy? What you need?
I tell you, man, the most important thing to me is, at the end of the day, guys, I'm not going to lie, I am doing really well. What I've noticed is that money can control people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I love making money. And like I said, I used to hate people when I walked in here, but I believe I have a bigger purpose here. So I do motivational videos once a week on social media. I help people out of suicide. Like I do a lot of that every single week.
I did not know this.
Hey, I'll show you some videos. But my idea is
social media handles coming here. We'll put that there. I will, and let me know, because I absolutely. I mean, anybody who watches this knows that mental health is a huge, or takes a huge back burner in this business.
Correct.
Because it's all about performance. Oh God, Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, no. Performance. But to your point though, and what you've said multiple times, which I feel like you're preaching, which I agree with, and I said this today at lunch with Matt and Benny, when you decide to take yourself out of it, like literally, like, okay, I got to take myself out of this business and focus on me. Like that's when it starts happening.
And see, here's the thing, man. And from going where I was a few years ago with the window companies to now, the reason why life is so much better for me today, money is great, but it's the perspective, the view of how we see life. So let's say we have a victim or somebody that's really negative. Something hits them out of nowhere. Let's say it's a parking ticket. Their world ends. Where do I get the money? What am I going to do about my rent? Like, you freak out. Now, when we look at it that way, it's already happened. You can't go back and fix the past. All you can do is, you have two choices: either move on with it or ignore it. So either you go ahead and face a challenge, or you just fucking ignore it and move on. And if they decide to sit there and dwell on it, they're not doing anything. They're basically just getting stuck and making things worse.
My grandma used to tell me, worrying it's like sitting in the rocking chair, Nick. It's a whole lot of movement, but don't get you anywhere.
Like that one.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite phrase of all time, and this is why I believe in that perspective. Think about when it rains. People hate the rain. They're scared of the thunderstorms. Just like bad things, people are scared when bad things happen. Mm-hmm. Do you notice what Perry said the other day? When bad things happen, he gets excited. That's me. When that whole office thing, or when things go wrong in the office, or things go wrong at home, or things go wrong with money or anything like that, I get excited, bro. I get stoked.
You like myself find success in the struggle.
Why?
Because we perform when our backs are against the wall, because complacency often leads us to bad decisions. It's the best way I can put it.
Exactly. So when the sun is there 24/7, can the grass grow?
For a short amount of time.
It needs the rain.
Yeah.
We need the bad stuff because, oh, great. I mean, we love the good, successful days. We love those happy days. We learn a little bit. I mean, I can have a great day and learn something, but when life hits the worst and you're at rock bottom, tell me you don't learn the biggest life's lesson from those moments.
So it's so funny you say this. So I was having a conversation with Flynn this weekend, and you, I'm going to say this because I'm assuming, but I feel like I'm right.
You're wrong.
Yeah, you have the same single parent guilt I have, right? And where it's like I feel like I need to give Flynn everything. I know you feel like you need to give Kinley everything. You have a meter, right? You govern that. But this weekend I was talking to Flynn, and it's like you have to understand that not everybody is going to tell you yes. Not everybody's going to give you what you want. And
Correct.
In life, it's going to get harder for you, and it's going to be in business and in everything else you do. You're going to get rejected more than you get accepted. And I don't know why I tied that into what you were saying, but it just made sense.
No, and that actually takes me back to what I was saying earlier because we didn't finish about it. But exactly, I mean, Kinley is spoiled, and I mean, I grew up in a lower middle class, probably even lower class, as growing up. I mean, I only ate $8 menu items. I never had a combo until I was 18, so I bought it myself. So spoiling her, I mean, she gets everything she wants. But that's what takes me back to my story earlier about the reason why I do this is motivation and helping people. So yeah, I make good money, but I really hate keeping it all for myself. And I'm not saying I like to spend on Kinley because I fucking do that. She has everything in the world. But I teach her that what we do is to not help ourselves only, but to help others. I mean, so for example, we were at Great Wolf Lodge for a vacation a couple weekends ago, and there was a family of like 30 or 40 sitting at the table next to us. And we were sitting there, and they started singing happy birthday to this little girl, and the little girl was so happy. And it's not that the family looked broke or anything, or looked like they couldn't afford it, because obviously they're at Great Wolf Lodge, that shit wasn't cheap.
No, especially with that many people.
Yeah. But the server came by, and I was like, hey, man, you got change for 100, because I didn't have my debit card because that shit got stolen. And he's like, no, we don't do cash right now because of COVID while we're doing this card. I was like, well, I can't give him my credit card. So I got a $100 bill. So I gave Kinley the money because I wanted her to learn to give it away.
Yeah.
And I told her before I gave it away, I was like, Kinley, can you do me a favor, baby? That table right there, it's that little girl's birthday. I can't give them anything else, but could you go over there to the mom, hand her the $100 and say, hey, tell her happy birthday. Tell her and go enjoy this, do whatever you want with it. And after I did that, like if I'd have done that a year ago, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my house.
Oh God, $100, I can't get back home now.
Now I'm like, I got to work for like 30 seconds. But she came back and I was like, how do you feel? And she's like, I feel great, Daddy. I was like, baby, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
5 seconds later, the mom walks over to thank us. The dad walks over. The cousins, the grandparents, the uncles, the nieces, everyone introduced themselves to me and Kinley, invited us for a cookout, and told us that we changed that daughter's life that day.
They were Latino, weren't they?
No.
They already
I'm a
rolled it.
gringo, bro. But that's, I believe, is my purpose here is to help others. And I don't believe that we're here for nothing. I believe my job is to help other people, whether I become a motivational speaker one day, or if it's health insurance, or if it's just giving $100 to some random people. It's about giving back and helping others. And that's what I love about what I do. The money's fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like not worrying about
By the
money
way,
or
if you need a
bills.
job,
I need an
what's up?
assistant, guys. I am struggling at this point.
Oh yeah, she quit, didn't she?
Bruh.
I gotta say, what's funny or ironic about that is being a father. I gotta teach my son things that I felt like I might not have been taught. And one of the things is that if you can succeed in getting people the things they want, you will always, unequivocally, without a doubt, have everything you need and want.
The one phrase I will never forget was when I was broke as a joke working for that window company that first 6 months when I made $5,000. The owner was a great motivational speaker. He says, the more you give, the more you receive.
Yep.
One day I had $20 in my bank account and I had $20 in my wallet. And I pulled up next to, it was a gas station over in the hood where I live. And there was this homeless man. And I was like, God, something tells me to give him some money. And I looked at my wallet. I was like, this is all I have. That's it. But my gut was turning. And I was like, oh my God, I got to shit or throw up or something. But I was like, I don't know why, but I got to. I drove by, I said, here you go, sir. God bless. Drove off, and I was like, why'd I do that? I just ruined dinner for me and Kinley. I just probably ruined our, opportunity of having a vehicle or having rent bills or stuff covered at home. The next day I closed, and most of our closed in one day. That is why I stick to what I do today, because I believe that phrase, the more you give, the more you receive, is the key to life and success.
110%. As much as I would love to ramble all night, because we could do that. We're running up some time here. It's 7:00. So shameless plug time. So arguably I am way more handsome than him. However, he
Agreed.
can probably sell insurance better than I can, or at least
Agreed.
I don't know. So tell us about who's watching. If they don't like me, they can find you.
Nobody's watching.
Oh,
so you're on social media.
Yeah.
So
what's your website? What's your social media? How can we get a hold of you? Phone number? I'll place everything right down here, and we can all get it.
If you guys want to get a hold of me for insurance reasons, 682-552-9417. Again, a little slower. 682-552-9417. And if you want to listen to any music, or if you want to book me for a gig or a wedding or something, not going to happen. I'm just kidding. SoundCloud.com/Andy Moss. That's ANDYMAS.
I will.
Andy Moore in Spanish. Got you, bro.
I will advocate the shit out of everything minus his insurance ability. If you want insurance, you come and see me. No, I'm kidding.
Seriously.
Andrew Moore, it is an honor to call you a friend. It is an honor to be in your presence as a father. And it is an honor to be here as an agent with you on my podcast.
It's an honor to be your brother.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Is there anything else? No? Have a good night.
Have a great night, brother.
Yeah,
Have a good night, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you much. Cheers.